This is a devlog for all of the known bugs and glitches for RogueEras. Achievement menu is not properly set up. There's no achievements achievable in-game, and nothing is set up to give you them. And all of the achievements in the menu are all just placeholder, as you can see. All of the menus in the game are set up for mouse and keyboard, but are not set up to incorporate the controller, to my knowledge. And the volume slider gets really loud at the top, but at the middle is when it gets to around 0 volume, so it doesn't really work properly. It works, but like volume slider should be full to 0. When you have money, the sound effect doesn't play, but as you can see, I don't have any coins, but it plays the sound effect. But if I have enough coins, it won't play the sound effect when I grab something. Like so. Double jump should be a wall jump, but it's not a double jump. It just says it's a double jump, but it's a wall jump, and that will also work without buying the upgrade, which is an issue. So if you don't have the upgrade, you can still do the wall jump. Thievery is not set up to work, and neither is Power Aura. Both of these just don't work. Skill works, defense works, everything else works, but just not those two. The weapon positions on each weapon should change when you switch weapons here, which doesn't happen. And this should also be 2 gauntlets, I think, but it's 1 gauntlet. I'm not entirely sure about that, though. Apparently, not all of the sound effects are set up properly, but they kind of sound okay to me. All of the enemies drop coins, but the unique enemies and bosses don't drop more when they should. And also, one more thing, is that with any melee weapon, the sword, any melee weapon, when attacking, the hitbox is kind of strange. So sometimes you will think you're hitting an enemy when you actually won't be hitting an enemy. So it being kind of finicky like that. And right, these buttons are still here. They shouldn't be here. But it also appears to reset your weapon icon and weapon whenever you enter a new room. The weapon layers are also an issue, as well as the bow. It's set into 2 different, that is loud. It is set into 2 different sprites, so when you equip it like this, as you can see, the front of the bow isn't there, but the arrow and the bowstring are there. That is because it is set as 2 different sprites in one. Oh yeah, so some of your, I'm gonna mute this for now, some of your weapons, when you have 2 animations going, it will have 2 of them, both of them equal true, like so, and then you will be stuck playing an attack animation or anything like that. And since attack animations don't repeat, they can never be set to false, and so you just can't do any other animation. So we have a couple fixes, but none of them work very well. It just helps avoid the problem, but the problem still happens. Right, and also with that problem is that we now have a is attacking to help prevent that boolean, but when that boolean doesn't work, it gets set to true even when you're not attacking, and then you can't attack. Yeah, unique enemies such as these horses and the turrets that are there are both need to drop more coins as they are a unique enemy than the rest of the enemies in the game. Yeah, boxes also drop coins and stuff. I don't think there's a problem with them. In shops, all of these don't have their proper icon. So as you can see, they're all just the thievery skill icon. And I do not believe, yeah, you pick one up and they do not take money, but I think all the upgrades are working. The issue seems to happen a lot when you're getting hit while you're attacking. I don't know if that has anything to do with it, or that's just an observation. And the boss can also attack while its phase changing, which is not a very good thing. Yeah, this should drop a lot more coins than, what was that, 4? Yeah, right. So for every level, we wanted to have a fountain that would generate along with every level, and that fountain would give you a either full heal or just heal you by a significant amount. But that never ended up getting added, and I think the levels are a bit harder without them. And also, the facility, the level we are currently in, does not have any unique enemies. So it probably needs to have unique enemies to be like all the other levels, because there could also be a thing of every level, when we change to a new level, enemies get more powerful, and they should maybe drop more coins. That's like a balancing thing that could be added if the game is a little bit too hard. And also the balancing of the enemies. I think the enemies scale a little bit too much, where they get a little bit harder, they get hard really fast. Which, I don't know what, it's just like playing through it and see what the best sweet spot is for it. And yes, there are also grenades you can throw. I forgot about that. Yeah, there are grenades. Okay. And Q is to switch grenades. Oh, that's an issue. Okay. So when you switch a grenade mid throwing a grenade, the grenades you throw also get swapped. So right now, this is a grenade that should kill them, but if I switch it to this, this will be a grenade that doesn't deal damage and instead knocks them away. Yeah, okay, so that's an issue that needs to be fixed. And if you spam throw, you can... No, never mind, that's not an issue. I thought if you spam throw grenades, it would throw more than the amount it could, but no, that's not a thing that happens. Yeah, again, doesn't take coins, doesn't have an icon, so that's a bit of an issue. I'm not sure if that one works. I know the permanent upgrade attack speed works, but I know that was just set up very recently, so I do not know if the attack speed temporary upgrade works. Some of the temporary upgrades might not even be set up. I have not actually looked at any of them, so I do not know. And boss fight should just be right up here. Never mind, there's a shop. Okay, yeah, as you see, it did increase base health, so that some of those are working. Do I need to go down more? Is that what it is? I thought I was a lot further down than this. Okay, this should be the boss fight in the next room. Yes. I believe all of his attacks deal damage, and he should be working properly, I think. I do not think this is a broken boss. I think this boss works fine. Yep. Okay. Right. Actually, that should check to see where the player is to make sure he's facing the player before that shoots a laser. So he should make sure he's looking at the player before the laser gets shot. I think there was an issue here with when he jumps. Yes, he jumps right there, and he's colliding with the room area above. Like, there's a room area slightly right here to see whether or not you're in the boss arena. And I think when he's jumping, he sees that, and so he turns around while jumping. And he does that when he hits the wall and when he sees that. So I think that's why he's going back and forth really fast throughout that area. Oh yes, these need to be fixed so they're not oversized. And another thing with those enemies with those line traces like that, is that if they fire, while shooting also breaks them. If they attack while you're leaving an area, that also seems to be a bug. And those specific enemies, when they shoot and you leave a room, their line cast will be... I can show it off here, where I do that and I leave and come back. Then as you see, the line is permanently out like this, which is a bug that needs to be fixed as well. These also seem to collide with the tables, which I don't think they should. And tables also seem to not be layered properly, as you can't jump off them and it thinks you're still in the air. So that is also an issue. Okay, I don't think there's anything wrong with this one. Yeah, I think he's working fine. They do collide with boxes and the chili pepper there, and I do not think they should. They also collide with grenades, when I also don't think they should, because they are droppable items. And sometimes when you walk over these like this, you'll see that it thinks that you're not on collision when you, because the collisions are inside each other. I believe that is why that's happening, which makes it so you can't go under them because they are a bit too, yeah. It thinks you're in the air, and so it won't let you go down, which needs to be fixed. So it makes it hard to go down the rooms. Okay. With this map generation, I'm not sure if this is still an issue, but for these bottom ones, if you are on like a side one where like, actually if I go to the scene here, maybe not when I'm being attacked, but if I go to the scene and I find where the map generation is, yeah. If it is on one of the sides like this right here, where there's a bottom opening, sometimes a barrier will not spawn there, and then you can fall through it. But that is very rare, and I've only seen it happen once. Oh, that's an issue. You're supposed to slide down this, but you can slide right up it, I guess. In some cases, when he does attacks, his walking animation will break. And it doesn't cause issues, it's just visually... when the animations break, the walking animation on him breaks, it doesn't cause any issues, it just visually it looks weird, because he's just kind of sliding. Yeah, you saw it happening there for a little bit. But yeah, he's just kind of sliding, and when he dies, he also kind of just slides, which is not game-breaking, it's just a little bug. There's also some of these aren't labeled as ground when they should be, so you can shoot right through them. If an enemy was to teleport, they wouldn't recognize this as ground, so this needs to be layered as ground. I don't know what that was. Oh yes, another thing. With the collider setup, if you jump in a certain way like this, where you jump on a corner and then you just spam jump, you can greatly accelerate your jump height. Like that. These enemies work pretty well, where they will teleport. And if you're too close to them and they can't teleport, they will just shoot lower down to where they can hit you. These have a lot of health. That sound effect is kind of loud as well. Yeah, so right now they can't teleport, so they just shoot down like that. And that's a broken sound effect. But yeah, other than that, they work fine. These guys move really slow until they start needing to attack you, and then they kind of just do that. They work fine, there's nothing wrong with them. And then here's the boss fight. Which, the boss fight works fine. Usually, I'm just gonna give myself more health so I don't die to this. However, with certain attacks on his boss fight, there will be some, like for example this axe attack right here. If I press pause and I were to go look, the axe isn't deleting itself. So some weapons delete themselves, some don't. I thought this axe was supposed to delete itself, but it doesn't appear to be. Yes, see the swords are deleting themselves, the axes aren't. Yes, some weapons don't delete themselves when they should. And these weapons are very piercingly loud. Yeah, some weapons don't delete themselves when they should for creator, and that's kind of an issue. And we also need to balance some of the sound effects, because some of them are really loud. But other than that, I think that is all of the glitches that I've encountered while playing the game. Which, to be fair, there's a lot, but yeah. Then world comes down, and then yeah, they're just credit scene. Alright, and that should be everything, I think. That is all the bugs that I've encountered while playing. There could be a few more, but those are the ones I am the most aware of and can think of on the top of my head while making this. And so I believe that's it.